Welcome to another episode of Not Your Average Lives. Today's episode, what I'm going to do is something that I used to do and I haven't done for a long time, and that is pull a card. Because, in all honesty, this will be airing the day after Thanksgiving. Today is the day before Thanksgiving, so I'm recording it early so I don't have to worry about it and do it at the last minute. But I have specced out my episodes for my abundance series through January. So I have a plan, and the idea is to work from a plan, right? But plans can change, and often they do, especially when you get better ideas or when you get some sort of inspiration from somewhere within or above. So what I decided instead today, because I looked at what I had planned and I thought, that's not the best episode for my audience on the day after Thanksgiving. So I thought, well, what goes on the day after Thanksgiving? In some cases, you might feel let down because you've looked forward. I always look forward to holidays. I get so excited about holidays. I love to eat. And meals are always great on these big holidays, and seeing friends and family, and it's often something that has been planned for a while and you look forward to. And so the day after is oftentimes a letdown. So I thought, well, let me just pull a card and see what comes up. And if you don't know what I mean by pull a card, I have these energy oracle cards, and I learned about them a couple of years ago. And what they do is that they give you, they provoke thought. And I like the nature of doing things kind of spontaneously and without any control. You don't have any control over what's going to come up on the cards. So when you pull a card, it's like divine intervention. It's like, what is the universe suggesting for me to talk about? What is something the universe wants me to learn? And really what it does, it's basically like you could write down a list of 100 questions, just questions for yourself. You could write down a list of 100 questions, throw them into a bucket or a jar, and then just randomly pull one out a day. And that could be the same thing as what an oracle card can do for you. So it's just something that, and the oracle cards I have, I got on Amazon. And I love them because they have a pretty picture and it comes with a booklet, and the booklet describes what the card means. So there's no I've had a couple of religious people reach out to me in the past who are think that it's like talking to the devil. I'm not talking to the devil. Basically what they allow me to do is connect with my inner truth, with my inner self. Oftentimes we are so busy with the noise that goes on inside our heads that we're not paying attention to what is coming up for us. And oracle cards are a way to stop and be quiet and to listen and think about, okay, when you look at this card and when you read what the card description says, what comes up for you? And that's a way to connect to your authentic self, really. And so I decided I was going to pull a card today and let it, whatever happens. See, I'm a control person too. I used to operate so much on controlling everything. And we really, control is an illusion, but we as humans don't often believe that, and we still try to control. And so it's kind of like, for me, a good practice of letting go of control. I don't know what episode I'm going to do. Let the card pick for me, but ultimately it is based on what comes up for me intuitively. And today's card was crazy, as it always is. I always get I don't know why I continue to get shocked out of what cards I choose and pick. Because it's random, right? I never, like I said, I have no control. So I never know what's going to come up. But then I'm shocked about how aligned it is with what I wanted to talk about, or what I thought maybe, or what I needed to talk about, or what I thought, what do you need to hear this day after Thanksgiving? What most do you need to hear? And I couldn't have picked a more perfect card. So I'm going to share with you what the card is. I'm going to read to you the description, and then I have a little fun exercise to do, a day after Thanksgiving exercise. I hope you like it. And I'm going to do it too with you. So, and first of all, let me describe how I pulled the card, because I think it's always good to have that little picture in your mind. I was sitting on my sofa where I do my meditations. And by the way, I meditated. I just did a 10-minute meditation on the Calm app before I pulled a card. And then I pulled the card. My little dog was sitting next to me. And I actually asked him if he wanted to pick the card, but he was confused. He didn't know what I meant. So he did not pick the card, but I laid them all out. I just like fanned them out on the sofa next to me. And one of them was kind of propped up with like a little air underneath of it. And that's what I always look for. I always look for a card that is in some way standing out and trying to be seen, trying to be obvious. And so I'm like, okay, that card wants me to pull it. So I picked it out of the pile, and it is a card I have never pulled before. There are, I want to say like 52 cards or something in this deck, or 56 cards in this deck. And there are quite a few I've never pulled before. So, because I don't pull them often, but I was really excited that it was the first time I pulled this card. So, and let me remind you, this is my abundance series. This is my activating abundance series. Okay. So here the card. Okay. So the card is the appreciation card, and it's got a woman. And like I said, if you're watching this video, they're very beautiful cards, and it's got a woman dressed very regally in beautiful clothes, and she is holding a rose. And then she's amongst a bunch of thorns, brambles or something it says in here. So the card is called appreciation. And the tagline for the card is choosing gratitude. And that is one of the 6 tenets of simple abundance. Did you know that? Choosing gratitude. So that's what this card is all about. And I say 6 tenets of simple abundance because that's what Sarah von Brannick writes about in her Simple Abundance book, which I love. All right. So what it says about the card is this card shows a woman holding a single rose. She enjoys the scent and beauty of the single blossom, yet around and behind her are bramble bushes. She could be focusing on these, worried that she might get caught up in their prickly branches of difficulty. Instead, she's pausing to experience the blessing of this single flower. The sun is breaking through the clouds, shining on her choice and on the tiny buds waiting to open up. This card upright is telling you that you have much to be grateful for. And like the flowering bush behind the woman on the card, there is more to come that you can't yet see. Congratulate yourself for every moment that you choose appreciation. This decision shifts your consciousness from lack to value, and it's guaranteed to bring more worth and richness of life to you. Isn't that amazing? Like, that was the universe. That was not me. That was me delivering a message from the universe that came from just randomness of me picking a card. And the intention I set was, before I pulled the card, what does my audience need to hear? What is the right message on the day after Thanksgiving? So crazy. So today's exercise, I don't normally do exercises, but I want to do exercise because I think it's really fun. I want to do a gratitude exercise with you. And so no matter where you are, I want you to pause, and you can do this exercise, whether you're walking, driving, sitting, whatever you're doing. But I want you to pause this audio and or video, whatever you're watching. And I want you to think, just write down until you're ready to unpause. Write down all of the things that you can see from where you're sitting that you're grateful for. And I say write down. You obviously can't do that if you're driving or you're walking, but think. I want you to look around. You don't have to write them down. That would be best case scenario, but you can always write them down after you finish your walk or after you finish your drive. But write down all of the things that you can see, that you can smell, that you can hear, that you can feel, touch, that you bear witness to, that you are aware of and are grateful for in this moment. You want to use all your senses because there's so much to be grateful for. It's not just like what you see all the time. We think, it's what I see or maybe what I feel, but yeah, use all your other senses and look up and look down and looks all around. Don't just look forward. And if you're near a mirror, look in the mirror and then think about what you're grateful for. So I'm going to go ahead and have you pause this. I am going to do this exercise right now with you. So come back when you're ready and you can listen to the rest. I'm back with my list. So I hope you have a good list, even if it's just a mental one. And like I said, go write it down when you have a chance. Hopefully you can remember all of the things that you are grateful for, and then you can add some whenever you get to where you're going to write it down. If you can't write it down yet, then add more to your list. It's always great to have a big list of things you're grateful for. So I have 10 and I thought I'd share them with you because, like I said, I was focused on the place that I'm in at this moment and looking around and things that if I was sitting upstairs, I probably wouldn't even think to be grateful for. All right. Some of them maybe, but some of them probably not. Number 1, I'm grateful that I pulled this card because I think it's awesome. And if you think it's awesome, then I'd love to hear from you. So message me or give this episode a review so more people can find it and hear it. Number 2, that I have a cute hat on that makes me feel warm. So, and because I'm looking at myself on video, I'm more aware of my hat, but I like to put on warm hats when it's cold out and even inside. So plus if you're not having a good hair day, it really helps. All right. Number 3, that I have a quiet place to do my podcast interviews. I do them in my furnace room. So I'm very grateful that I have this space. Number 4, I'm grateful for my new background and what it will eventually be because it's a work in progress. But I'm so excited that I have this beautiful, clean, freshly painted wall with which to start to embellish in some way, shape, or form. And that's a trick, by the way, that really helps, is to be grateful for something before you even have it. So like the wall is not what I want it to be, but I know it's going to unfold into the most perfect ever wall for my studio. So that is number 4. Number 5, the perfect carpet remnant at my feet. I have this amazing, my husband put some carpet remnants in the corner of the furnace room. So when I was putting the studio together, I was like, and they're fuzzy. It's a fuzzy one, like a little bit of a shag carpet feel. So it's really soft and wonderful on my feet. Number 6, the white noise of the furnace. And it's a noise that, like, when I first started, I was kind of like a little annoyed. I was like, I hope that noise doesn't come across in the podcast. But then as I was like thinking of things to be grateful for, I kind of like it. I kind of like that white noise, that it's constant and there. It's kind of makes me feel a little secure. I don't know why. Quiet is insecure. I don't know. So no, but isn't it funny how sometimes you don't even realize white noise is there until it goes off. And then you're like, whoa, it's really quiet now. And you thought that it was quiet with the white noise. All right. So that was number 6. Number 7, the deep freezer that came with our house. I have this cool deep freezer. My grandparents had one that was probably about twice the size of it. And it was just, people didn't want it that had the house before us. And it's just a great place to put frozen food because we have a side by side and the freezer compartment's pretty small. So I am grateful for that. And I don't think of it very often at all. Number 8, my bright studio lights. They are bright, and that I can Google where to go to, like, how to set them up and how to place them so that the light actually works well without the, some lighting, you can cause shadows and, kind of like there's a lot that goes into photos and video and all the behind the scenes that you would never know. And so Google, I am grateful for my lights first, and then Google that helps me set them up correctly. 9, not having to cook tomorrow. That's right. No cooking, not even a side dish. We are going out to eat to our country club. So will be delivered my food. So the only part about that is no, we will not have leftovers. So, but I plan on cooking a smoked turkey, which really is already cooked, but taking that to our tailgate on Saturday. So, but I don't have to cook tomorrow. And that is something that I'm very grateful for. No pots and pans or dishes to deal with. And 10, my final one that I thought of in these few moments is I am grateful that I've learned how to tap into and trust my intuition. And this episode is exactly that. And it's a short one. So I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving. I appreciate you for letting me spend time with you and for doing this exercise with me. And I hope it made you feel good as it made me feel. Being grateful is always a mood lifter. And maybe you can pay it forward and get somebody to listen to this episode, or even not, and just do the gratitude exercise. Have them stop, drop, and be grateful. And at least 10 things on their list. Add 10 things. All right. Talk to you next week. Bye. Thank you so much for tuning into the Not Your Average Lives podcast. If you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe on iTunes if you have an Apple device. You can find free resources and learn what else I have going on at the moment that might interest you on my website at notyouraveragegrandma.com. You can also find me on Instagram or Facebook at Not Your Average Grandma. If you liked this episode, it would make my heart so happy if you could leave me a 5-star rating. You can also add a review to let me know what you like about this podcast, which will help spread the word about it to others who need a little midlife inspiration. As always, be you, listen to your inner voice, and focus on reigniting that lost spark so you can start living your own Not Your Average life.